Ryuji had planned to find out about this person while he was in Korea, so this was great news. He smiled widely at the translator. I guess he's a really good fighter. What did you say? The translator looked surprised. Did I say something strange? No, it's just the translator pointed to the man standing near the door. He's a very powerful hunter like a mage. How could that be? Ryuji quickly checked the Hunters Association website, and looked at the list of top-level hunters in disbelief. The computer program quickly changed the words into English for him. Jinwoo-sung was a top-level hunter and used magic. It was true. The picture on his online profile looked just like the man standing before them. Is he really a mage? Ryuji was very surprised and looked up from his screen. The hunter was walking toward their group. Is that Ryuji Goto? Jinwoo immediately knew. This was the strongest hunter from Japan. He was tall and well-dressed with a carefully kept mustache. He looked a bit like someone you might see in a movie. But why was he looking at me? Just as Jinwoo started to feel uneasy from the man's strong gaze, Ryuji nodded at Jinwoo. Maybe it was because they hadn't met before. Jinwoo nodded back, then looked around the gym. In the middle of the room, Yunho Bake was practicing with a very large man. Everyone except Ryuji was watching the practice closely. Whoosh! Yunho blocked the other man's hand, turned his body, and kicked powerfully at his lower body. Whack! But Yunho was the one who made a face. Oh, Jinwoo understood why. The bigger man quickly used a skill to protect his leg. Because of his size and strength, he seemed like a powerful defender, but he was also very quick, just as you'd expect from someone with a high rank. The man laughed loudly. Come on, Mr. Bake. Why are you so weak for your age? I'm not a master, Mr. May. The bigger man, Mr. May, chuckled and made his belt tighter. Seeing someone very large and strong wearing a judo uniform was surprising. Okay then. After adjusting his uniform, the large man quickly moved toward Unofficial. Unofficial used his magical abilities to respond. The two men seemed to be enjoying their practice. Master Ma and Yuhan, who were both having fun while they fought. It was a special chance for them to practice with someone as skilled as they were. Chugong walked over to Jinwoo and started talking to him. He said that if Yuhan used all of his strength, Master Ma would likely lose. They greeted each other with nods. And Chugong went on. The man wearing the judogi is Dongwook Ma from the Fame Guild. Jinwoo thought he remembered hearing that name before. And he was right. The man was the leader of one of the strongest guilds. Jinwoo asked curiously, if he doesn't need to hold back, why isn't President Bake using his full strength? He doesn't like showing off his full power in front of so many people. He becomes like a scary monster when he really tries his best. Back at the Red Gate, Jinwoo saw Yunho's eyes change to look like an animal's. It seems like more than just his eyes change when he uses his power. Some of the strongest hunters have special abilities, like Bake's ability to change his body. They have powers that make them seem like monsters. Jinwoo was likely seen as unusual too. What is the difference between someone who becomes a monster and someone who calls monsters to help? Jinwoo chuckled, imagining others would be as interested in him as he was in President Bake. He found President Bake's power really interesting. There wasn't much to watch during the fight between President Bake and Master Ma. They were both slow. Jinwoo could easily follow their movements without even trying. Just then, what's that? Yunho noticed something and stopped walking. Master Ma suddenly stopped moving. Both he and Jinwoo looked at each other at the same time, as if they had planned it. Was it clear Jinwoo was uninterested? There were too many people watching for that to be the only reason. Jinwoo quickly understood what was happening. It wasn't about him. Someone was behind him. He turned and saw Ryuji Goto standing there, looking at him with a strong gaze. The translator spoke to Jinwoo for Ryuji. Sir, Mr. Goto wants to talk to you. Jinwoo knew Ryuji had been walking closer, but he didn't think the man would want to speak to him himself. He lifted his eyebrow. He had been looking at me strangely for a little while now. Was Jinwoo showing he was uncomfortable? Ryuji gently asked. Will you fight with me? Ryuji didn't have a hidden reason for asking. He came to Korea to check out the best Korean hunters himself, and he became curious about this person, who seemed a little different. It should be easy to find out if this person really uses magic. Ryuji still wasn't sure if the man in front of him was just a strong fighter. He wanted to gather information. He needed to learn more about Jinwoo so there wouldn't be any surprises during the mission. He thought it might be interesting too. A small smile appeared on his face. The translator seemed worried about his request. Mr. Goto, are you really asking this? Please tell this man exactly what I just said. But sir, is something wrong? Ryuji's question sounded normal, but he was really giving a clear warning. Why couldn't he train with the Korean hunters on his own? The translator started to get nervous and slowly agreed. I'll ask. The translator paused before turning to look at Jinwoo, but finally spoke. Mr. Goto wants to know if you would like to train with him. Everyone understood what Ryuji meant by train. Jinwoo looked at Ryuji waiting for his answer. It was difficult to know what the Japanese man was really thinking behind his smile. Was he testing me to see what I could do? Someone as famous as Ryuji Goto wasn't just trying to show off. If he only wanted to impress people, he would have challenged Jongin, or Yunho, the leaders of the two strongest Korean groups. I'm not sure what he's planning, but Ryuji had been watching me since the beginning, so it seemed like he was truly interested in me. Either way, I didn't mind his suggestion. He was actually excited to agree. He wanted to try out the skills he had practiced in the Demon's Castle, and see how strong Japan's top hunter was. Ryuji wasn't the only one interested in what his opponent could do. Wait a minute. Ryuji's smile disappeared, and he frowned. The other hunter was smiling. He thought Jinwoo would be scared and give up, but he looked calm. Did he have a secret plan? Was he worried and trying to hide it with a smile? He didn't have to wonder for long. Jinwoo told the translator something surprising. The translator seemed to want Jinwoo to change his mind, but Jinwoo laughed and reassured them. It was okay. Ryuji looked upset that he couldn't understand what they were saying. What were they talking about? He thought it should be an easy question, with a simple yes or no answer. What was so important that the translator, who was just watching, was making a big deal about? Ryuji was starting to get annoyed, when the translator finally told him something while looking carefully at Jinwoo. Mr. Goto. If no one else was around, Ryuji would have told the translator to hurry up and say it. He raised his eyebrows, and tried to smile while he waited for the translator to keep going. Hunter-san accepts your challenge, but, Ryuji thought Jinwoo would give up, but instead he was asking for something extra. Ryuji was really confused this time. What condition? The translator looked at Jinwoo, who nodded for them to keep going. He said he will only agree if you plan to try your very best, Mr. Goto. Ryuji quickly turned his head. Was he being serious? Jinwoo didn't seem like he was joking at all. Ryuji tilted his head. Could it be that this person didn't recognize him? That seemed unlikely. And even if he hadn't, the translator had just told him everything. So Ryuji wondered, was this person acting like he was better than everyone else? Or did he simply not understand? Ryuji found this very interesting. The smile had left his face. At first he planned to fight at a normal speed and finish the battle quickly after learning about his opponent's strengths. But he decided to change his plan. Luckily, a very skilled healer was present in case anyone got hurt. Okay, said Jinwoo. Oh, the translator looked scared. Jinwoo had recently become a very powerful fighter, so he might have been too excited. But why would Mr. Goto, a man who had faced many difficult challenges, agree to this fight? They had reached a critical moment. Who is the man facing the Japanese hunter? That's Hunter Jinwoo-sung, right? Really? Are they going to fight each other? The other top-level hunters and people who worked at the association gathered around the two men preparing to compete. Everyone watched, feeling both excited and worried. Heisen was one of them. Would Jinwoo be alright? His opponent was the strongest hunter in all of Japan, a country with over 20 hunters considered the very best. Jinwoo had just been ranked as one of the best hunters himself, only a few days ago, but compared to his opponent, he was still new, even though he had some experience as a lower-ranked hunter before. It would have been the right thing to do to stop Jinwoo. Jinwoo had saved their special team of hunters. She usually wouldn't let someone she admired face danger, when the results seemed clear. But when she thought about stepping in, she remembered something from that day. Jinwoo had warned her not to interfere, even when he was fighting a very strong dungeon boss and many dangerous orcs. Every time she remembered his serious look, she felt excited and curious about what would happen next. She couldn't make herself step in, so she gently bit her lip. Just then, Yunho Bake stood beside her. They had worked together on missions a long time ago, and he knew about her problem. Are you comfortable being near so many hunters today? He asked. It's not like I can avoid it on JJ Island, she replied. Yunho nodded, showing he understood. Hayden then asked. Have you met Hunter Sung before? Yes, I have. She remembered that Jinwoo had helped the White Tiger Guild too. Shouldn't someone stop him, she asked. I usually would. Yoonho said. It made sense, considering who he was fighting. Haedin blinked, surprised. So then, Yoonho looked right at Hyun. I won't either, for the same reason you aren't, Hunter-chan. Yeon felt a chill, surprised Yoonho seemed to know what she was thinking. She usually stayed calm, but now she felt different. What do you mean? Yoonho asked. Aren't you feeling a little excited? Yoonho couldn't say no. Her heart beat fast as she had a thought. Maybe Hunter-sung could I feel the same way. Yuan smiled at her and looked at the two main performers. His eyes were shining. If she was correct and Hunter-sung had special powers that could become stronger. It was finally time to find out. Raiju was the first to make a fist. The person translating for him quickly moved out of the way. Two very powerful hunters were about to fight each other, and one of them was known as the strongest hunter in Japan. Regular people could get hurt if they were nearby. Jinwoo waited for the person translating the fight to move to a safe spot before getting ready to fight too. He raised his fists but just then whoosh. Ryuji quickly swung at the place where Jinwoo's head had been a moment before. Ryuji was surprised. He missed. His attempt to quickly knock Jinwoo out with one punch didn't work. Jinwoo quickly moved out of the way of the punch by ducking and stepping back. He was very fast. It didn't make sense that he was a mage hunter and could move like that. Ryuji didn't understand why the Hunters Association of Korea was hiding this man's skills, but he believed what he was seeing with his own eyes. Jinwoo was a skilled fighter known for his speed and quiet movements. He was good at hiding his true self. But Ryuji wasn't fooled. Ryuji smiled, wanting to reveal Jinwoo's secrets and show everyone who he really was. He hadn't felt this happy in a long time. Jinwoo, now far enough away from Ryuji, listened to his own heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. His heart was beating fast. He knew Ryuji was much stronger than the other top hunters. But whenever he felt Ryuji's powerful energy, he felt confident. This man is the best in Japan. Jinwoo was starting to understand how much stronger he had become, after reaching level 97. Ryuji looked very confident. But Ryuji's face became serious. He was smiling again. Ryuji was annoyed. He sent out a lot of energy that everyone could feel. The people watching were scared. Should they stop them? Ryuji Goto was really going to try hard in this practice fight. Wasn't he? Jinwoo smiled a little. This is exactly what he wanted. However, Jinwoo remaining calm made Ryuji angry. Ryuji's eyes flashed with anger, and he attacked quickly before the other hunters could react. They quickly moved closer together as Ryuji threw a punch. Jinwoo moved back to avoid the attack. Ryuji's eyes widened. How had Jinwoo gotten away from his hit? Was it just chance or something else? Ryuji kept attacking Jinwoo with many strikes, but none of them connected. He either missed by a little bit, or Jinwoo blocked them all. How is this happening? Ryuji began to sweat. Everyone watching was amazed by Ryuji's fast attacks and Jinwoo's narrow escapes. That's a scary attack. I can't even see what's happening. Hunter-sung is doing okay though. It's amazing how well he's dodging. Ryuji knew the truth. Hunter-sung wasn't just doing okay. It seemed like Jinwoo was simply trying to survive Ryuji's attacks. But it was the other way around. Ryujin was shocked. He was actually wanting Ryuji to keep attacking. If she understood correctly, Jinwoo was figuring out how strong Ryuji was, while also matching his power. Something only possible, if he was much stronger than his opponent. How could this be happening? Something unbelievable was happening, right before her eyes. She realized she had to stop these men, not to help Jinwoo, but because she was still thinking about the reason, when she noticed Yoonho trembling beside her. President Baek, she asked softly, but he didn't respond. His eyes were focused on Jinwoo. Chien looked closely at his face and suddenly jumped back. His eyes, President Baek's eyes, looked like an animal's and were glowing yellow. His pupils had become narrow like a cat's and were shaking with surprise. He didn't notice Hyun's worry. Yoonho could see everything clearly with his special ability. I was correct. Jinwoo's power was much greater than the last time. Yoonho saw him at headquarters. A hunter who can become stronger. Yoonho's whole body shook with excitement. But at that moment, Yoonho, who had been watching Jinwoo carefully, let out a surprised breath. Jian also turned around quickly after feeling a cold energy. A few seconds before, Ryuji knew he was being drawn into Jinwoo's power. As someone who was always considered the strongest, the Japanese hunter felt embarrassed and angry. How could this happen? Ryuji's eyes flashed with anger, as Jinwoo moved away from his attack, aimed at a vulnerable area. He would defeat Jinwoo. Jinwoo's eyes grew wide with surprise. He could feel Ryuji's anger. It felt like a warning sign. Jinwoo's heart dropped. Every time someone tried to hurt him badly, a message would appear with a task to complete. What if the message told him to hurt Ryuji? A sound went off. A message popped up. It warned him that someone nearby wanted to cause serious harm. Luckily it wasn't a task like the ones he got when he fought Chugong and Kang. But then whoosh, Ryuji's sharp nails scraped across his cheek. If Jinwoo hadn't quickly turned his head, he would have been seriously hurt. Ryuji was trying to attack a very sensitive spot, even though they were just practicing. A cracking sound filled the air, and everyone felt the tension change immediately. Ho! Yunho gasped again. Without meaning to, Ryuji noticed the shift in feeling first. He felt it in his body before he understood what was happening. A coldness made his skin prickle, and the hairs on his neck stood on end. He had never felt anything like it before. What was this feeling? Before he could figure it out, Jinwoo had already taken hold of his wrist. Ryuji struggled to get away but couldn't. How could this man be so strong? Ryuji looked from his wrist up to Jinwoo's face. Jinwoo's stare was cold, but what Ryuji really noticed was how big Jinwoo's arm and shoulder were. Jinwoo's arm was pulled back as far as it could reach, pointing right at Ryuji's face. Ryuji felt a lot of pressure, and suddenly felt like he couldn't breathe. For some reason, he thought about getting hurt, but then stop. President Baek and Haein came to Jinwoo's side and held his arm. Yuno grabbed Jinwoo's shoulder, while Haein held his wrist tightly. When Jinwoo looked back, Yuno shook his head, and Haein looked at him with worry. Because of what they did, Jinwoo was able to calm down, and let go of Ryuji. The Japanese man stepped back and rubbed his wrist. Yuno told the translator, who had hurried to Ryuji's side, "Please tell Mr. Goto that the practice is over, because it's getting too intense." The translator nodded. After Yunho spoke, Ryuji looked unhappy at Jinwoo. Then he quickly turned and left the gym without saying goodbye. "Mr. Goto," the translator called, running after Ryuji. President Baek sighed with relief and bowed to Jinwoo. "I'm sorry for bothering you." Jinwoo didn't say anything. Yunho explained that Ryuji needed to lead the Japanese team soon, so he had to stop their conversation before it became a problem. Yunho looked at Jinwoo, hoping he understood. "Did I do something wrong?" "No. It's okay," Jinwoo said quickly. President Baek was correct. If anything happened to Ryuji, it would cause problems for the mission, and both countries would suffer. Jinwoo didn't blame President Baek or Haein for helping when they did. Wow, the excited people came closer, now that it was safe. The way everyone looked at Jinwoo had changed. Dongwook Ma, the leader of the Fame Guild and a very strong man, was the first to approach him. "Wow," Dongwook said with a laugh. "You fought against Ryuji Goto, a famous and powerful fighter, and you only got a small scratch on your face. You're pretty good yourself." Sadly, only Haein and Yunho really understood what just happened. "Wow, so strong. Look at those muscles," Dongwook said, impressed as he touched Jinwoo's shoulder and arm. "My group has a lot of magic users who hunt monsters, but not many fighters." "Master Sung, if you don't have another group to join, would you like to join us?" Master Ma Jongin, who had been watching quietly, spoke up. Jongin explained that Hunter Sung was a mage. Dongwook was surprised. "What, elsewhere?" Ryuji moved away from the person translating and quickly checked himself. His wrist was bruised and turning dark. Even though it wasn't very warm, Ryuji felt sweat on his forehead. He took out his phone and called a number he knew well. Someone answered after a few rings. "Beep, Shigeo Matsumoto speaking." "Mr. President." "Goto, what's wrong?" Ryuji tried to sound steady. "There's a really amazing hunter here in Korea. Better than you. Maybe. We might have to change our plans a little." There was a pause while President Matsumoto searched for something. "What's the hunter's name?" Jinwoo Sung. "He is a powerful hunter who just became active again." "That's odd. There isn't anyone with that name." "What do you mean?" Was Ryuji talking about a ghost? He felt like something was wrong. He remembered seeing a hunter named Jin Woo-sung on the Hunter Association's website. He was listed as a mage class hunter. Is there no hunter named Jin Woo-sung? What do you mean? I just got the final list of Korean hunters. Are you saying Sung isn't on the list? That can't be right. Is President Go making a mistake? Why would he plan a mission without a powerful hunter like Sung? President Matsumoto read the list aloud. Jonggin Choi Dongwook, Ma, Yoon-ho Baek, Kishin Sha Taju Lim, Bayan Guman. He said it firmly, like he was trying to convince Ryuji that everything would be okay. Those 6 are the only members of the Korean team leaving in 4 days. President Baek took a deep breath. His heart was still beating fast, even though the 2 people who everyone was talking about in the gym were already gone. He couldn't believe it was actually possible. He was surprised he had seen something he only thought about in his head. A truly powerful person who could become even stronger. How much money would Jinwoo have?